it now. There. I think we're live now.
The button has been pressed?
It has been.
Oh my goodness. How do you feel about that, Stuart?
Never felt better.
Damn!
There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Aww. Well, that's nice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So today, we're doing our top 10
Yes.
favorite things in Stranger World Season 2.
Yes.
Yesterday, we did the top 10 least favorite things, or negatives, if you will.
Which was fun.
Today,
That was a fun
we're
one.
ending the week off on a high note with the favorite things now. So
Yes.
this was a much easier list to make, I gotta say.
Yeah, the obvious ones, the whole point, they go to the top. That's kind of the point, right? Memorable things.
I'm excited to see the lists because yesterday there was some very interesting choices on each of our lists. Some were like creepily the same, even down to almost the exact same frame that we got for a screen cap of one thing.
Like 10 things away from each other in the scoring.
Yeah. So yeah, all subjective, of course. Explanations for each one as we go along, kind of thing. But looking forward to your input, guys out there watching. Let us know what you think about our choices and whatnot. So, but how easy of a list was this for you to do, and how long did it take you?
Just doing a poll first.
Oh, he's doing a poll first. So I'm going to ignore him and tell you guys to hit that like button. 17 likes, which is a better way to jump off than yesterday. We had a lot less yesterday at the beginning. So thank you so much. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. You know the routine. Synchronicity, yes. Less anger today. Yes, less rants for sure. Yep, November is here. Hello. And didn't make it through. Yeah, that pesky sleep gets in the way of those things. But appreciate that. There will be a poll up in a second here that you guys can vote on. And like we said, participate if you're able to. Super chat in with your thoughts. What do you think our number one's going to be? This is a good time to start that.
Yeah. Start out with the top.
Yeah.
So this is a very Trekyards poll. You could have more options, but we don't do the third option, so I'm not even going to put it as an option. Okay? See what you think.
Okay.
I'll start sharing as you read out.
All right. He's going to share this, but you guys will vote on the poll. Should you always be positive in reviewing new Star Trek? Yes, positive and fun. Be fair, good, and bad. Be truthful. Yeah. Good poll. Go vote. Do it. And if are you sharing? You're sharing now, I suppose. All right. So in the meantime, guys, hit that like button and make sure that you super chat in. We want to hear your thoughts. You support the channel as well, and it really helps us out. And we really appreciate that. All the help you guys can give us. So please help us out. Also, don't forget to join the channel. There's a join button down there. At least click the join button and look at the options for joining, and maybe consider it in the future. Would be awesome. But yeah, join the channel. You get your name on our each edited video at the end, assigned to a ship with your rank. Can be fun. You get to hang out with your crewmates and stuff in the Discord. It's a very fun addition to the Trekyards brand, I think. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying that, and if you haven't checked it out, just look at it. Just click the join button. It doesn't obligate you to join. There's options. Go check them out. Or if your Patreon is more your speed, you can have it at Patreon/Trekyards. All the same ranks, privileges, and perks apply over there as well. So go check that out. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store where we have some cool Trekyards merch. Always fun to see people wearing Trekyards merch during conventions and stuff. And we want to see you guys in it. So by all means, check it out. TeePublic has sales on quite often, and definitely some cool shirt designs over there. Even if you wander off the Trekyards brand and go to other ones, there are some good ones as well. So, but anyway, go vote on the poll, do all the things, participate in the chat, share the Trekyards videos around, watch the edited content. There's a lot of ways to help us out and support us, so please consider all of them. But during these lives, super chats are the way to go. We do read them all on the air. We do get your name out there and your question or your comment, your thoughts. So consider doing that. And I think we'll have a good time. Had a good discussion yesterday, actually. And despite it being the negatives, it was fun to go through and look at things and get a feel for what other people are thinking in regards to the season as a whole. So anyway. All right.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Fleet video.
That must mean it's over.
What do people say, Stuart? In the chat and vote in the poll. We want to know.
Well, Metallica fan 1442, member for 26 months at the rank of lieutenant, says, Samuel, are you going to be at Destination Trek this weekend?
It was fine decided about an hour ago. Yes, tomorrow. I was 50-50 for about 2 weeks. Almost went as an attendee, but I couldn't do today. And many things, right? But yes, I'll be there tomorrow, which is exciting and tiring. So, you know, I'll be in my standard convention garb during the photo shoot times, because I like to have the same brand of thing for a person, and then I'll be in various uniforms throughout the rest of the day. If you see me at Destination Star Trek in Birmingham, not Birmingham, Birmingham, then do say hi, have a conversation, prep some questions, and if you're on this live and you see me tomorrow as I'm talking to La'an from Stranger Worlds, you can walk up and start playing our live, say, look, it's him, he saw you yesterday. It's like, you know, because that's a bit funny. We're staring at La'an today, and then she'll be there tomorrow. Fun.
Well, DRT is King throws in $5. Thanks so much. Best episode of season 2 was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Made La'an likable and proved that Kirk was in fact superior.
When was La'an not likable?
I didn't think she was likable for the first 1 or 2 episodes of season 1, but she very quickly became an awesome character.
And not even just because you find women attractive, like as a character, Stuart. You want her as a character.
I find her attractive, so.
But also as a character. Both, right?
Yes.
Good.
Tom Casey, $10.
Thanks, Tom.
Been busy. Just want to show my appreciation for what you guys do. I always say to be honest with the reviews. Awesome. Thank you.
And 10 is a very honest thank you.
Yes. Metallica fan 1442 throws in £2. He says, Samuel, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, then mate.
There we go.
I'll see you tomorrow, and then he's going to mate with you.
I don't think a $2 super chat will unlock that perk.
What's the price? What's the price? Throw it out there.
Does YouTube go that high? I feel like they have limits. If they don't, they should.
3 $500 super chats, and he will.
Oh, don't make me a hooah, Stuart. A hooah.
Anyway,
this isn't a late night live, Stuart.
It's true. It's true.
So, Stuart, how was this list for you? And did you do it prep yesterday, or did you come do it all at the same time?
I did it yesterday. I did it at the same time as I was doing my negatives, which was weird to kind of shift mind frames. But you know, I didn't want to have to go through each episode twice because I just didn't have the time for that. But this was a lot easier to compile than the negative list, honestly, just because there was a few things that stood out immediately. I was like, yeah, gotta include that. Waiting for those screenshots to come out, kind of thing. But yeah, very easy to do, and the season's good, albeit not as good as season 1. But as a whole, Stranger Worlds keeps a pretty consistent bar that it hits every time. So, like I said, finding the negatives was a lot harder for me. But yeah, anyway, it was pretty simple, and there's a few that I had right away that I knew I wanted to talk about. So. And they kind of stuck on the list. A few got shuffled off. Like, let's see, I've got the 10, and then I've got another. A few. Yeah, another 12 or so that, or 14, sorry, that didn't make the list. That got bumped or juggled around, or even, you know, I got a screen cap of thinking I might use it, and then just didn't. So, lots of honorable mentions kind of thing. But
I've got a
don't want to
few.
go through. I don't want to go through 14 of them.
Yeah, I've got 4
Could
honorable
probably,
mentions. Just to
I
have some
probably,
sanity.
I could probably will it down to like 4.
Yeah,
So
4 is good.
yeah,
For
how about you?
me, I had a few yesterday, but I wanted to do a fresh pass today. I didn't want to just... I want to really think about it and find elements I appreciate for various reasons versus just saying, hey, this thing showed up. But versus yesterday, which, problems are annoying, but just having a thing on screen for 2 seconds shouldn't be a top 10 of 10 episodes of several hours, right? So I stayed away from them, but I watched, skimmed every episode to try and find real elements that grabbed me, right, to kind of break them down. There's one episode I almost entirely skipped, like, scroll, and done. Oh, nothing in that one. But most of the rest of them had a couple. And I definitely found there's a few sub reasons for reasons, I'll make it clear there isn't a this whole episode or this whole thing. There's like a part of a thing. It'll make sense when we get there, but it's actually quite specific in a few ways. Because as you say, the season's good with some great, not a lot of bad, but not a ton of amazing. It's a very middle of the road Star Trek season with some standouts, but not a ton. Which is good, right? And considering the budget was slashed so much, to have a pretty notable good season while amazing is a good thing. But certainly there isn't so many wham, wow, incredible, oh my god elements, which is okay. That is okay. Doesn't need to be, right?
Yeah. Well, I might as well jump off with a few of our honorable mentions.
Yes. Do you have yours?
I'll go first this time because you went first yesterday.
Okay, go for it.
So Boimler and Mariner in live action.
I
thought they were fantastic, looking like their characters. So that was great. The new Bizarre collectors in action, like seeing them actually like articulate and move. That was cool. Let's see here. T'Pring's dad was awesome. He's a good standout character. And Zombie Hemmer showing up was cool as well. Like I said, there were a few other ones that were mixed in there, but yeah, those are ones I'm going to call out right away. How about you?
So for me, I had, and I've got pictures because I only had 4, so let me get those up. Because I did the entire list, so I don't know if I was going to put them in my list or not. So I guess number 14 was the lawyer actress from episode 2. I thought she did a very good job playing a lawyer. Just big shout out for her performance. Really good. Deserves that old wrenching. Number 13 was Pike's not Pike performance in the temple, chapel, church in episode 4. Just the intensity and the vibe was really, really strong acting. But again, it's odd to give a moment to him not playing Pike in those but honourably, yes, that was definitely a standout moment. So that gets a mention. Number 12 was in an episode where we also included M'Benga being a killer as a negative. I want to give credit for M'Benga in the episode. When you watch the second time, leading up to the entire episode of not killing him and holding his tongue so goddamn hard with so much grace in the struggle that was really good to see until the last hour, right? Like this scene especially, like he doesn't break. Give credit to him for that. And 11, T'Pring and T'Pring's outfit, which still, this episode was goddamn gorgeous. I love this outfit and her poise in it. I thought she did incredible in the episode. Re-skimming, I forgot how good she was because she's really good. I'm upset she'll be barely in it because this is a great episode, right? But like she really elevates this duo, kind of much less dynamic character, and she does a phenomenal job. T'Pring spin-off, hashtag justice for T'Pring, full season. Maybe not, but there you go. There's my final mentions. So, Stuart, you can start us out. You're number 10.
All right, let's pull this up here. My number 10 is the TOS Fleet. That's one of the things we were missing in TOS was seeing any more of the fleet. Honestly, all we saw was other Constitution class ships. Saw a freighter once in a while, and then some cobbled together ships. Now, they kind of changed that a little bit for the remastered, but still, we still seeing Constitution classes. Here, we get to see the smaller single-engine ship. We get to see, which is the Archer class. We also get to see the Farragut, you're actually getting a sense that there's a TOS fleet, as there should be. Different classes of ships. You know, I mean, yesterday the inconsistency of the fleet in the one episode around the deuterium gas station kind of highlighted that fairly well as well. But you know, just knowing that there's a Starfleet presence that's not just the Constitution class ships and not just the Enterprise, I think that's one of the things that TOS is in fact missing. And I wish they would have included different ships, like in the Ultimate Computer, instead of all Connies, have one or two other ones, you know, in there. Would have been neat. But anyway, here we are. We've got the Miranda-esque Farragut class. We got the Saladin or Hermes class single nacelled ships, even though they're way too small, but that's all right.
Well,
at
they're
least
not
they're there.
Classes, they're a different class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Archer classes, I think.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But I mean, just the fact that we actually have a single nacelled ship now that's canon, you know, going against the pairs rule, I love that. So yeah,
technically, we had the 3 nacelle ship in Picard. So this year,
I was going to say that. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I was going to add that. So yeah, just giving this variety and making it canon, I think, is very important because Starfleet is an organization that's all about ships and exploration and military-esqueness, whether you like to think so or not. So yeah, there you go. That's it. The TOS fleet.
How Stuart of you?
I know, right? That's only number 10.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't have crossed my mind because it's so infrequently used. Even in this episode, it's like, look, a shape next to a space station. It needed a shot where there's a fleet, actually, just a classic flyby. There's a fleet. That would have maybe consider it. And of course, they get both gain and lose a point by having the goddamn villain ship of this episode already at the starbase, just flipped. The cross for, you know. Weird. But okay. Very Trekyards of you. I like it.
All right. Now we're going to get into Sam's number 10.
Now, to also mirror your joke a second ago about having it can be on the top 10 and the worst 10. This is a top 10 and worst 10. The Klingon K-pop sequence. It was like 9 on my worst. It makes it 10 on my best because there's 2 reasons. One, it's the most ridiculous earworm in that it's 40 seconds of lunacy that I saw because people post it as a clip on Twitter, right? And you watch it and it's just the start, end, and Pike's reaction. It feels like a fan film. It feels entirely like rap battles of history. It's the same tones, the same music. It's the same shitty looking set. It feels like a parody. And if you and they can be reaction of Pike from the show. It feels fake. It's so fake feeling, but it's real, right? The fact they did this is insane, but it's shockingly memorable. Like, you're going to talk about this for a decade, right? It's how memorable and pathetic and fun it is. But really, I'm giving the point also for Pike's most incredible look. Sort of gently bemused in a sweet way. Every time I watch this moment, again, that Twitter thing, I'm like, my Grinch heart grows one side looking at Pike, like, oh, guys. Oh. I love his look. Like, I wonder how he takes it was. I've never seen even a man look that way. Such a perfect look for that moment. So.
Oh, that should have been my top 10 list of just Pike's reactions in these episodes. Like, he was great this entire season.
Yeah.
So.
But this look in particular was really stand out and just.
Yeah.
It's memorable, right? It's pathetic, but it's wonderful, and it's so fucking memorable. So stupid. It's so Number 10.
Yeah. The Klingon sequence was fun. I'm glad they kind of went fun with it. I have no problem with it. I think it's a nice little addition to it's a kind of an out of universe thing with the way the background's set up and stuff. Like, it looks very stage Broadway musical-esque, right? So anyway, that's it. Let's move on to my number 9, which you already know because you showed it.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go straight into it, so
no, we gotta wait.
Okay.
All right, number 9 for me is the new disruptor cannons on the D7, the transforming nacelles.
Okay.
You know, this is stepping out of the typical Stewart response because usually I like the things stay the way they are. Canon which
Ha!
you know
Ha!
they fired exactly. They fired these cannons out of the nacelles in TOS, but to see this sequence where it like takes the classic nacelle shape and like changes it to, I love that. I think that's really cool addition and a nice take on a classic design. And I wish we would have actually seen it fire because it got ready to fire. It just actually never did. So yeah, there you go. Simple one. A nice retcon and a nice reimagined way that could work. That was kind of fun. So
it'd be very interesting to ask Ryan Dennings, who I've met, Zeneth, was that intentional? It feels semi-intentional, or at least that he like submitted a sketch saying it could have this there, and they just like did their own version on the day, you know, to kind of fit the moment. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've done like 3 different D7 designs for fan films, and I always have to factor in where are the guns. It's always a thing I have to do. In the most recent one I did, which is a Romulan D7 variant, the idea, of course, for that one being that the Klingons gave D7s, which are not Klingons, and Romans took the design, said, pitiful Klingons, we'll use your one for a bit, and then we'll make our own version too, which is a fresh build using inspiration. And obviously they redesign everything a bit, but it's similar. And the joke, of course, being is that when the cannons have clearing for the nacelles, but as soon as you make the cannons readable on screen, as in the weapons, they have to be bigger. So they hit the nacelle. Otherwise they're thin. So I have to do shots where the previs is hitting the nacelles, and then you carefully frame it so it doesn't hit the nacelles. It's a problem, that goddamn clearing, it's a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Fascinating.
Now you're number 9.
My number 9 is a general then a specific. Is in general the music of season 2 is good. Normally pretty good. I'm not going to say I can hum a lot of it, but I enjoyed a lot of it while it's playing. Specific note though in this moment is the love theme between Chapel and Spock. I find that theme very, very nice. It's repeated a lot, but it always generates a lot of emotional context. And this scene in particular, which is when I was scrolling, it's like, oh yes, obviously, it grabs you in a way that not a lot of music does in the show. I want to give God credit for a really well designed theme that fits really well, and it's a gut punch. And I'm, you know, again, when Chapel leaves, just like with T'Pring, in theory that theme will go as well. So I'm interested to see what happens. But no, I like the theme. I like the music in general.
Can't say as I recall what that theme is necessarily.
It was in both seasons, so it's a pretty used.
Yeah,
it works. I mean, I think it's really nice.
I'd have to go back and listen to it specifically, but yeah, I think the music was very good this season as a whole. I found all the new Star Trek music's been really great. Even Picard season 3 was super phenomenal because it was tying in older callbacks. So yeah, and there's a lot of TOS callbacks in this one as well, like directly from TOS after the musical thing gets annihilated. You get that classic Star Trek TOS vibe, right? So that was really nice. Yeah,
and I definitely
music is a good call out.
And it's nowhere near as memorable as season 3 of Picard, because that stuff has some very bold, and I've listened to that soundtrack quite a bit for writing a project, and there are so many good themes in that. It's chock-a-blocked with good things, especially of course the Picard's Crusher, the Jack Crusher theme with Picard. That thing is goddamn glorious, but this is their equivalent. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Cool. All right, moving on. My number 8. My number 8 is the Gorn spacesuit.
Oh my god!
Adult Gorn.
Could season 1, Stuart, believe you right now? Would he? Oh my goodness.
No, because season 1 made them seem like animalistic and not, cultured enough to come up with a spacesuit, even though they had warp travel and ships. It just seems silly. This was great to see. We've talked kind of a lot about this. We've done some videos on it and stuff. And on it, and we did a whole live talking about it. So I don't really have much to say except
Well,
this
for
was
fans
great.
that don't know, Stuart, please reiterate a little bit. In case
It
they
was
don't
great
know.
to see. I like the addition that maybe they don't have tails, but the tail is in fact part of a mechanical part of the suit, harkening back to their more primitive ancestors who used it as a weapon. We know the younglings have it, but every adult Gorn from STO to TOS to the animated series to everything except for the JJ films is lacking a tail, or they have a small tail. Like even in the did a live the other night where I looked at the Starfleet medical reference and looked at the Gorn. They have a very small tail. The adults, there's a tail there, but it's very small, like kind of like a vestigial tail. And no, I think it would be cool if they incorporated that into the suit. Like that's the adult Gorn. You can imagine what he looks like under that, and just no tail, because so he stands upright, no tail, and that's just like a mechanical addition to his suit that you can use as a weapon or a tool. So love that. There you go.
It just makes sense.
It makes sense.
Shocking. Yeah. So this is specifically the spacesuit, not the Gorn design.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the fact that just thank you for showing us an adult Gorn. But
True.
yeah, it's still not seeing him. You see his face. That's it.
Oh, Chris, have fun.
And then learning, double down on that, learning that it was actually a guy in a suit, not all CG, was a nice addition. And seeing all the behind the scenes stuff on the Ready Room also just added to it for me. So
if you want to be in the abstract, you're actually saying the Gorn suit, the Gorn suit, the real spacesuit, the physicality of the that.
Everything about it, man, in universe and behind the scenes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I certainly. Yeah. Is it just because we were so jaded from season 1 of Gorn that I would even consider putting this as on my season best of list? It's like, yeah, that would have been why, right? It doesn't, the Gorn are not that amazing relative, but spacesuit obviously is a pretty nice one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a good design. Very Sangeli from Halo, obviously. But I just like the fact that they've definitely, you don't build that, because it'd be a lot cheaper in CG if you had less shots, but I've got it, they can do it in many, many ways later, so yes. Okay.
How about you? What's your number 8?
My number 8 is, oh yes, I guess the clarification, my number 8 is some of the songs in the sing-along episode. Not all, not the episode, but some of the songs. Because some, I think, achieve, specifically the first song, which incorporates the entire crew, and this one with Spock, I think both have a certain weight to them that I didn't feel with the other ones. Probably because it's Spock, and this is so meaningful to decades of character, and he does it really good. And it's auto-tuned, but it's got a good vibe. The first one, because it's a good melody, it has everybody, it's creative. That's a true musical vibe. The solos and the duets are okay. And then one at the end is too much for me, like, to be on this list. But those two, so ironically the two with Spock, I just think both melodies I prefer the best. I think they're shockingly good considering, shockingly well performed considering, and shockingly creative considering. And to go over the hump. So I'm going to give those two songs specifically be my number 8. Because I could probably listen to them off the screen.
Yeah.
Not the rest.
Yeah, there's a few songs from the musical I really did enjoy. The first one, as you said, I think the one between number 1 and Kirk was pretty good. And also, I'm trying to think now. There's 2 or 3 that I really enjoyed. The rest I found a little bit on rewatch, not great. Like the Uhura one is sure the word, the powerful message and all that, but way too long, and I just dread watching or listening to it each time I watch the episode. So, but yeah,
I just
first one's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's a really good, bold thing, and to see Pike's, because it's great because it's both a song, but also every actor is reacting in character, like, what the hell is going on? And so the faces are really against the tone of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's a fun thing, and seeing Pike just, that classic standing up like...
But why are we singing?
It's great. Like, it's shockingly good. Shockingly good. All credit. But Stuart, you know what would be shockingly good?
What?
More votes in the poll and more super chats. Because your thoughts are important here. This is our top 10 best. We want to know your best.
Well, we only have 60 votes. If you haven't voted in the poll, go do so. Hit that like button. We still haven't hit our 50 like goal yet. And yeah, super chat in. We want to hear your thoughts, your speculations, what you think our number one favorite thing of this season might be. Throw them in. We do read them all. So they help us out immensely, and we would really appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. Well said, Stuart. Well said.
All the things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, wow, we're flying through these. It's easier to talk about positives, I guess, than negatives.
Less rants.
All right.
And also less interaction with the audience. So indirect, guys. Thoughts. You're number 7, my sir.
My number 7 is Toronto.
That's a place,
Actually,
Stuart. What do you?
Just Canada in general being used in Trek, and not pretending that Toronto is fucking Vancouver or New York. I hate to break it to all the Americans out there, but America and New York are not the most important fucking places on the planet. Everything happens in New York.
0 views. Wow.
I don't care. Not everything happens in New York. America is not the be all and end all, guys. Hate to break it to you, but this was fantastic. Right down to the poutine, to the money, to just everything Canadian. It was just like, relish the area where you're filming and just use it. Perfect. And to actually highlight it, mention it, call out all of the Canadianisms, I thought it was fantastic. And I really enjoyed that episode for other reasons as well as this. But this is like the icing on the cake for it. The only thing I will complain about is those Toronto police would not have let him off like that. For reckless driving, a stolen car, no license, so many other things. They wouldn't be just like, oh, it's fine, you can go. Yeah, that
You're
was,
a
that
lawyer?
was bullshit.
Oh, I won't arrest you for breaking the law.
Yeah. That was silly beyond belief. It makes Canadians look bad. Like, oh, Canadians are all friendly and nice, and they always say sorry, so the cops, of course, will be like that. No. So that's the one downside. But other than that, just having Toronto be highlighted was, I think, a really fun ride, especially for Canadians. So
give me a sense of how long would it take us to go to some of those locations if we're at your house. Start at your house to some of the distinct locations like the pier, like the chessboard place, the parts of the scenery. How long to get to those places, do you think?
Well, this first scene, which is like downtown near the harbor front, you're looking at probably in 2 hours with moderate traffic, maybe a little longer with heavy traffic.
And then how close are all those things together, do you think?
They're really close.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the harbor front's right near there, and I don't know which hotel they use necessarily, but I'd have to go back and actually find the locations. That's an interesting thing, actually.
And when's the bridge being finished?
Oh, I wish. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Wait, the bridge wasn't real?
No, it was not.
Wait, so you're saying that the Trek world isn't the real world? Because in the real world, there is no bridge.
Yeah.
But Akiva Goldsman, Stuart, said it's like the real world. It's as if they're silly or something.
Oh, Akiva Goldsman's an idiot. So.
But because by that single point, they can't argue, because you built a bridge doesn't exist. Don't do that then. Why even pretend if you're going to build stuff that's not real? It's not real, then is it?
Oh, yeah. Matthew Wilkinson, though, says the hot dog could have been a Tim Hortons donut. Yeah, it could have been. But there was Tim Hortons coffee cup that the cop was holding. So there is Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons on it? Like
oh, yes. Well, you can see, I think it was the tea and then the maple leaf. You could tell it's Tim's cup, trust me.
Because there's a big difference, because you got to pay to have brands in, and they probably didn't want to pay to have...
Oh, they didn't pay to have Timmy's in.
That's what I meant.
Everyone has a goddamn Timmy's cup, so it was just like...
Yeah, but I mean, if he'd grabbed a Tim Hortons donut from the cart, it would have been paid Tim Hortons, and I'm sure they wouldn't have gone kind, because why would they? They're the biggest brand in Canada?
I don't know.
They're so synonymous, right? But the reason I asked about distances is if we were to make a fan film about us beaming to locations of their adventure, how easy would that be?
Pretty easy. It'd be a headache for me to drive down there, but it's all right. It's fine.
Because imagine you could take the clips of them from the episode and then like us walking walking behind them, like chasing them. You could do a film where actually we're in the scene as well. Not the lighting's gonna match, but that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, well, the lighting on that one scene where they got the hot dogs was fucking atrocious, by the way.
Yes, it was. It was real weird. Don't know why. Cool. Just wanted to
know. Let's see. Sean O'Sullivan though says, well, €2. Sorry, wasn't real Toronto. Where was the pineapple hot dog? The fuck are you talking about?
Hot dog. What alternate universe are you from?
Yeah, that's pretty awful. I don't have no. I've never, first time hearing about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Weird. Yeah, cool. I like it. All right, good one. Good for Toronto. Because yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see the occasional thing in England filmed. There was like a Mission Impossible that was in England. I was like, for once. Yeah. I can actually walk the streets, like the one bit of Camden, etc. That I know we've been to. Yeah, we've been to. Because normally London is like generic street or the one landmark that the sort of people know, but not really.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, OMFG, Stuart. My number 7 is. You ready? You ready? You ready?
I am.
You ready? It's specifically the Khan and Kirk love thing, sort of. So that's the picture. The reason for this, though. God damn, it's really coughs today. So specifically, I want to highlight the fact that this is being more of a story of that they pitched to us. We've got a Khan descendant, which seems like a ludicrous idea, a bold idea, could go anywhere. It's minimally used in season 1, but you get the point. Season 2 introduce Kirk, and they don't shy away from this giant canon connection. They give us a love story. This, again, it would sound silly for a fan film, right? Kirk's gonna date Khan's. It sounds, but the way they handled it was nice. The way the emotion they built up was nice. Kirk obviously does a great job in the episode. Lana does a great job. It has shocking amounts of weight for what you know goes nowhere and does nothing. And yet you feel it in the moment. And it's sad when he dies. It's sad when you see a reaction. It's weird, but they put a shocking amount of weight for a doomed something from day one. So good job there, and I think it stands out as, again, a good episode, right? The episode is many strong points, but that's an element that helps continue. And of course, by summarising it as that also includes all their scenes together, so it's a pretty broad point, but I want to highlight it specifically.
Mm-hmm. No, it's beautifully acted and well done. I usually don't like love elements of things generally. They're not, a lot of times they're kind of ham-fisted or overdone. This was, I think, perfectly done for the amount of time that they had and the way it felt so natural, and the acting was so good in it that it worked 100%. So yeah, I have to give them credit for that. It was an interesting twist too, considering it's a descendant of Khan's, that he doesn't even know Khan yet, or if maybe this one never would have because of the Earth Fleet instead of Starfleet kind of thing. But yeah, something you would not have seen coming. If you had mentioned this like a year ago before the season was out, that Kirk and Khan are going to get together, and be like, oh Jesus, you just roll your eyes and go, no, it's just going to be stupid. And it'd be something for all of the hate channels to jump on, which I'm sure they probably did anyway, but I really don't give a shit. But it was done so well and kind of coming out of the blue the way it did. Yeah, they got to give some props. Get some props for that. So
yeah, well, I do think it was the actors more than the script. They added a lot of nuance in the performance. Not just obviously discredit the script, which is solid, but I think if you'd given this to less they honed in actors to what they had to do, it would have been a less well done sequences. So good job, the actors.
War God 6 says, I mostly love the ships. That's what got me got me in love with Trekyards. as a web series. Thank you guys for the honest reviews and your content and random hangouts.
Very
We
nice
go
to
above
hear.
and beyond because we love you guys.
Yes, we do try, and thanks for being here. Because a content is nothing without the consumer. So you guys being here, let's us be here. I want to be here and bring these fun ideas and these fun debates and discussions. And even though we've just talked about all these things many a time in our, at the time reviews, which are in depth, you can still find more things to say.
Speaking of, 80 of you here, 52 likes. It's not bad, but we can do better. Let's try to get up to 80 likes, guys. Keep the super chats coming. Haven't had one in a while, but we would love to hear from you about your favorite things this season and your take or your thoughts on our favorite things that we're bringing up in our lists. Plus, it's always fun to speculate. What is our number one for each of us? Might be the same, might be different. We don't know yet. Because we don't know each other's lists, just for the record. We don't plan these out ahead of time.
I
with
work
each other.
so hard to avoid them so I can be surprised. I want to be surprised.
Yeah. All right. So we're going into, I guess, my number 6. My number 6 is the return of true Klingons. Right off the hop with the first episode, you got some old school, well, not TOS old school, like smooth-headed Klingons, but return to form, course correction from Discovery, and they think they look great. Right down the armor, the prosthetics, everything about them feels like a good 85% of the Klingons we've seen over the past 50 years. So you're doing what you're supposed to be doing that you should have been doing even with Discovery. So thank you for doing the right thing, which you should have done all along. But hey, Brian Fuller, kiss my ass. Yep. So the fact that they just returned to the way they're supposed to look without so much as you don't need an explanation for it. We're sorry, here it is. This is how it should be.
Well, I guess in theory, there's no explanation given to change them. Therefore, no explanation to change them back. Not even we don't talk to outsiders. Not even because Pike read all the mission reports after the Klingon War and saw the thousands of faces of hairless Klingons and would make a note about that in his meeting with Klingon Man.
Yeah. I would still love to see at least one or two smooth-headed Klingons just because they do exist. They are a thing. They're acknowledged by Enterprise. There's ways to incorporate them. But regardless, this is a massive improvement over what a lot of people were expecting. It was to the point where even if Worf returned in Picard, people were like, is he going to look like Worf or is he going to look like... they would never change that character. I never understood that thinking, that they would change Worf to match the disco Klingons aesthetic. It's never made sense to me.
Well, some people think canon overrides other canon, so any new producer can undo 50 years at the drop of a hat. It's like, they have the power. It's like, oh, that's a scary power to have.
Everybody is saying this forehead looks rubbery. I mean, in this lighting, maybe. It's not like it's worse makeup than we got with Worf and TNG. But it could just be the lighting. It could be a lot of things.
Well, I mean, we did debate this. This guy in particular, is a shame that his stuff is so rubbery looking. When obviously they did it so flawlessly in TNG.
Yeah, the first one. Well, the first Klingon we see in the episode that was playing or the drinking game with Lahan.
Yeah.
Looked amazing.
It's a mixed bag, but you're saying the concept of it, not necessarily this one guy.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Because this one guy's amazing, just not necessarily.
But when he speaks, very Klingon, very Martok,
very TOS as well.
Yes, and then that armor with the sash and the colors. Like, I didn't want to get the first Klingon I saw. I was like, I only watched the first 5 minutes of the episode. Take this picture. No, I was waiting because I knew this guy was coming up.
Yep.
Even then, my first picture of him was on the view screen. With Spock in front of the view screen, and it's like, no, I don't want that one. I want... So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, course corrections are important. That's been so many franchises recently because somebody in their midst suggests some course that they probably know the fans aren't going to like, and they go anyway, they try. And, things can't stagnate, but also you can't just radically alter sort of for the sake of it. But because if you don't try, fans can't tell you're wrong, and they told them they were wrong. And we got a course correction, and that's great.
They've actually listened to us a lot for this season, or this series. We got this series because they listened to us. The fans wanted a Captain Pike series. So I think they're making grand gestures in that regard. We're sorry. One of them coming up for me, and I think it's maybe my next one on the list, is one of those we're sorry moments. So,
although of course, if the fans are asking for it, they'll probably pay for it. If you make something no one wants, you might find a new audience, which could be amazing. But if you alienate everyone who's there to get it, then who are you making it for?
And Terrence Chalice says they should put more Klingon females on the shows. Well, there's like at least 2 Klingon females in this episode alone. The one that goes and meets La'an, the one that goes and meets Chapel, and then the one that was helping La'an arrange the meeting at the beginning. So
the first one we see, and then Bob's like, I mean, either gender's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
Dave Reels, Area 51, throws in $5.
Dave
says Klingons only looked like mutant seahorses in Discovery because it was wartime. Yeah, that's the ticket.
We have a video. We finally have a video about that coming up, which was a real pleasure to film. So
yes, it was.
Tune in for that. Yeah, I mean, Stuart, we're only at 6. This might cover my list. Let's be honest.
Oh, I figured it'd be on your list somewhere, yeah.
So, I can't disagree. And it only excites me for future Klingons, especially as they've kind of, I feel like, pigeonholed themselves into not having Klingon conflicts, to not feel like every other show or Discovery. So hopefully we'll see Klingons just talking. Because in theory, Discovery said we haven't talked to Klingons for 60 years. No one's ever seen Klingons in any meaningful way, except the war stuff. So let's see Klingons just interact with people. That'd be really exciting.
I would love to see these Klingons back in season 5 of Discovery. We don't even know what's going on with the Klingons in the future, right?
That's actually a fair point. If they did that, because now the makeup exists, that'd be so funny.
You got to remember, this was filmed right after season 1, which was like years ago. But they did this kind of thing. So
that would be so funny if we full circle. It's like it took all 5 years. We finally got the Klingons fixed. Oh, that'd be so funny. That would make a lot of thematic sense to end fixing the nightmare of the start. That's great.
Matthew DeFrida says, so, Trekyards, in that video, how many times does Samuel say, "'cause fuck Discovery"?
Well, I don't swear in edited videos, so none.
We don't swear in edited content, just on the ones.
No.
I mean, I sometimes do. And he's like, nope. And I'm like, I already say that. All right.
Yes. Yep. Or I accidentally swear big. I'm like, oh, do it again. And you're still grinning because the edit wasn't of you. So yeah, you can see him if you look really close. But this is a live show, Stuart. It's a live show, so it's a bit different.
Yes. Okay. This is Trekyards Unplugged.
Mm-hmm. Except to the Ethernet, that is very important.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah.
My number 6 is something that I'm especially fond of, as me. So it's very nice to see, even if it was actually almost an accident, which is more annoying once you know that, but whatever. The 29th century is back. Acknowledged, utilised. But of course, from behind the scenes, we know that it was going to be some random L cars, and then the graphics guy said, can I just do a T cars? They're like, okay. And they did. So, because one guy put his hand up and made it clever. Excellent. And it obviously connects it even more to canon, which is a bit annoying, but also, you know. But to add another decent, because they don't mess with anything particular in the canon of it, to connect back to the time cops, things are very important in the fabric of the universe. You know, it was great. I don't believe I saw this. Yeah, this was spoiled because it was in the trailer. If you freeze framed it, so it would have been nice to have seen it fresh. And
I saw it fresh in the episode. I don't remember seeing it in the trailer.
It's literally a split second. It's like 3 frames. One of those like quick cut moments. There's someone paused and posted, right? Like, you know, like we would if we'd seen it, but neither of us saw it. Obviously, if it had been Duquesne at the end, the lady was great, but if it had been Duquesne, it would have been just the giantest love letter in full uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow, But they might have messed up the uniform. They probably messed up the uniform. But anyway, great acknowledgement. I like 20th Century a lot. I like the ship designs. I like the costume designs. I like the set design. I like the badges. It's all a good, fun art design for me that I've been tempted to do in fan films for a while now, although quite hard to utilize, as you can imagine, because, time future cop people. Kind of a high bar to set with every other situation. Yeah.
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 Yeah, seeing the Temper Police return and the true representation of T-Cars on the screen was amazing. It gave me a lot of hope that they're going to do things that fall more in line with the canon that we all love. So,
yeah, it's not. They did a lot of things this season that you didn't expect them to even think of doing, based on Discovery.
Yeah.
But then the more they do, the more you think, oh, they might do this. They might, which is a nice feeling. Watching Discovery, I mean, sorry, ever expect to see real Klingons again, like in the moment. It's like, if they're not going to do it, they can't acknowledge their own mistake. And now you do whatever you want in a good way. Like, anything could happen, and that's good. So, yeah, I thought it deserved a nice shout out there.
Yeah, for sure. I might have something to say about this later. I don't know. We'll see.
You don't know.
I don't know. No. I don't remember.
Which is fair, you might not remember, because...
All right, guys, we're coming up on our number 5, which is the halfway mark. We're almost at the halfway mark of the episode, or the live as well. Little light on super chats, so if you guys are able to, we do want to hear from you. Like, this is why we do these lives. So it also helps support the channel and us as well. So if you can, please super chat in with your thoughts. Anything that you really enjoyed this season. And also, it's fun to speculate what our number 1s will be. See if you're right. So please consider doing that. Hit the like button if you haven't. We have 89 people watching and 62 likes. Let's try to get to 75 likes. Or 80. 80 is a nice number. I like 80. Let's get to 80 likes. We can do it with 89 people here. Just saying.
Okay, and the poll, because we've had that on for a while.
Yes.
85 votes. Should you, Trekyards, always be positive in reviews for new Star Trek shows? Thankfully, 78% say be fair, good, for the bad, and just be truthful, right? Just be fair. With 20%, which I guess is 16 people, say just be positive, just have fun. Your thoughts on that while writing a poll?
There are a lot of channels that are just overly positive about every goddamn thing about New Trek. And I find it very disingenuous. There is no perfect season, perfect episode necessarily. There's a lot of good, but like you said all along, throughout Trekyards, almost 9 years now, there's good and bad in everything. Not just Star Trek, but especially Star Trek. And we like to point them out. The way we do our breakdowns, detailed, scene by scene. Some scenes can be written and acted beautifully, but there's a visual mistake, or there's a canon error, there's something. There's always something to look at. As an overall piece of an episode, you can be like, that was a really great episode, very positive. But when you go in, there's always something, right? So that's what we like to do, is actually critical analysis of the episodes. So I don't think being overly positive or just positive in general all the time is a good thing. Same with the hate channels. Negativity as just a blanket, over all New Trek. Just hate it all because it's New Trek is just a silly concept. And my brain can't even fathom that. That's kind of my thoughts on that. So,
although it's fun to see that, I do think a lot of the negative stuff has, those channels have diminished in how much they can talk about, because if the content keeps being pretty good, there's less to complain about. But they had their, they had their pound of flesh when they could grab it.
Yeah, that's when they scooped up all those subscribers that they have.
Good for them.
Anyway, new poll is up.
Yes.
Favorite part of this season or next crossover: canon Klingons musical episode or the on time travel episode? We can only do 4 options. That's why it's only 4 there, guys.
Yeah, and those 3 summarize a large set of fun things. So
Yeah.
yeah, episodes happen to be top build there. Okay, your number 5.
My number 5 is this moment, which I titled Symbolism.
Oh my God, Stuart.
I want to print this off, frame it, and just call the piece
We're going to need a full story here, Stuart. My goodness.
So, this is a way I think that the filmmakers or the producers of the show, or just people working on the show in general, as a way of saying, hey, we fucked up. Sorry. Here you go. Here's your moment. That is a crossfield class. Not only is it a crossfield class, but it's a TOS crossfield class, which almost made my list, by the way. It's like a TOS-ified crossfield class. Looks way better. So, despite the fact it looks way better, it's getting destroyed. And what is framing this destruction of this crossfield class, hence Discovery in essence, is a more canon-accurate Enterprise, albeit a little bit different, as we've talked about, and a D7. Not a Katinga, a D7, framing this explosion of like, this is Discovery. We are fixing that for you guys. There you go. You're welcome. It kind of gives people the satisfaction of seeing Discovery destroyed on screen. So it's very symbolic. I especially thought with the way this was framed, just the proximity of the ships, that's what it was showing us. And I still believe that to this day. It's a very great moment and a fantastic still. Like, that would make a great poster. It really would. So besides the fact that it includes one of the things that was on my negative list yesterday, and that's space shit everywhere, space debris all over the place. Which I thought about later. That also includes nebulas, gas things, like the deuterium cloud, the ribbon that they were going to use in the musical episode. There's always something in space. It doesn't have to be rocks or asteroids. Because you asked me that. How many episodes had it? A lot of visual clutter and shit. TOS had a lot of black space and stars because space is pretty goddamn empty as a whole. But these new shows like to show off all their fanciness, so they put shit everywhere. That's kind of what I was getting at yesterday. But anyway.
So it's a visual clutter, not necessarily asteroids.
Yeah.
You're retconning your own thing. That's okay.
I am. I'm clarifying.
There we go.
I didn't think of it yesterday. So
Yeah.
there you go. That is...
Wow. Damn, bold. I mean, yeah, we had fun of this at the time. Having seen sort of roughly what the ship looked like. It's a nice ship. Hope to see it again. Yeah.
Bet you if you zoom in, I mean, you can't because it's not high enough quality, but if you zoom in, it does say Discovery on it. That'd be fucking hilarious. Just as a...
I mean, they can't be that self-aware nor doing it on purpose. But the audience can linger. It's pretty funny. But calling it actual as just wowza, and wowza.
It was a great moment. There's a lot of great visuals in this show. This is a fantastic one, but it embodied so much of everything into it that I had to include it.
Was it cathartic?
It was. Naming it symbolism, I thought, was very apropos as well.
It also sounds like you're like Cyborg. You need your pain. This is a moment of needing your pain and seeing it on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to lose the hate for Discovery because you need your pain. Here it's symbolized. Okay! If people put money on that, it would have been kind of funny thing. Okay, cool. My number 5? Yes, okay. My number 5 is the Admiral April. You done broke the Prime Directive so many times, Admiral. Examination moment. For me, it beats the whole episode just for like sleek writing, well acted, great concept, broader context, and power. Because he got. So the story behind it is that yes, he's a commander, captain, admiral, etc. And he, you break the Prime Directive or General Order Number 1 at the time. Don't interfere. don't do things against the orders, and clearly he still stands there, high-ranking admiral, very well respected. He's not been court-martialed despite having on paper, on the books, a list of court-martialable offences by the definition of the law, and yet he still stands there because they're all still subjective, justifiable, whatever. So she points them all out, makes Una's crime look less bad when he's broke the worst law and keeps sort of justifying it in his own way. Now, there might be good justifications, but letter of the law is important there or not. So just the acting was really solid, and to point and mirror in such a dramatic yet apt way was great. Best part of the episode for me, probably just from an acting and story point of view.
It was a great moment, and the calls out of, like, warning a civilization about a incoming meteor shower, stuff like that, was great because
normal stuff.
As we know, being Star Trek viewers, it's never a simple answer. All the captains have made decisions that basically the prime directive is very malleable. You can skirt the shtick. You can get ways around it without breaking it necessarily. So I love that that was included, because now I want to see Captain April doing his thing. Let's get a Captain April show going on. Let's do it.
Yeah, because it brings up the simplicity of I'm here and I could just fire one torpedo, destroy one asteroid, and save 1 billion people from getting smushed by an asteroid. Am I meant to sit there and not do it? I am. Oh shit. Like it's very ruthless in that way, but of course 9.3 times out of 10, it's a good option, right? It's there to help, it's there to protect, it's there to make sure that you don't cause harm.
Guideline.
There you go. Because the harm you might cause is so ridiculously high, and you can't go on a plan and erase the memories of everybody. Like once that damage is done, it's done. But of course, that's not a debate if they've already been smushed by an asteroid. Can't save smushed people unless you time travel. But so I just thought it was a really good scene, and for me, it stood out as the most relevant piece of the whole episode, because it really speaks towards the entire canonical lineage of Star Trek, not just is she allowed in Starfleet? Yes, no. For rules are good, bad. Like, it's more interesting, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
A lot of the dialogue I wanted to include from that episode was really, really well written and very, acted so well. So, but I didn't include it in my list because overall it's kind of an episode for me. So, I even almost included the uniforms, the dress uniforms from that episode, but I hate how they made all the clusters of pins one pin, because they're not one pin. They're each small little individual pins that you can form in any way you want on the uniform, but they molded them as one pin. It's like, that's not what that is, guys.
Yeah. So no, indeed. And I think in my number 17 I'll mention the uniforms for that one. So
yeah, I was on. I think I didn't think it made my. I thought about it, but then I was like, I might come back to this, and I just never did.
Yeah, because the annoying elements of the uniform outweighs the good. Not bad, just annoying. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting almost to bronze.
Your audio's really quiet.
I haven't changed it. I can bump it. Boop! There you go. I bumped it by 10%. Right. Well, hey.
Well, we're up 4, so we're sneaking up on bronze.
Yes.
Like I said, guys, speculate. Super chat in with what you think our number 1 is.
Yes.
And of course, we want to hear what yours are. I think we should aim for 80 still. Let's know 10 likes. It's easy to do. 10 of you have not hit up, but please thumbs up us. Thumb us. I'm not on
YouTube.
Sound right. Anyway. Yes, there you go. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. All right, moving on. My number 4 is all the Boimlerisms.
Fun speak up.
His scream, his power walk, his run. He did a fantastic job of translating his character quirks or his animated character quirks into his live action acting. So that was a nice subtle thing. I didn't really notice them necessarily the first time around, but on rewatches, I noticed them all much more. When he power walks away from Mariner and Una with the little wiggle, when he runs after Chapel, like, and this one I noticed the first time, the Boimler scream and the So had to get this one. I think Jack Quaid did a fantastic job. And it just, like I said, these guys almost made the list as just the live action Boimler and Mariner both did really good jobs, but him in particular with these, which not a lot of people would necessarily think to translate into live action, but here we are.
Yeah, that's the sort of crediting them for super intentionality. Because I know that he said, the actor, he watched the whole franchise of Lower Decks again to pick up what his character was doing. Because he's not animating himself. The animators gave him character traits that he didn't. No, obviously a yell is a yell. They'll give that certain oomph for the character. But the walk, that's him. So to take the animators took his performance, put it into animation, or you watch the previs, either one, and then reinterpret that in live action took so much intentionality, and I'm sure a good amount of them he just suggested. Mm-hmm. I don't think the writer said Boimler does Lower Decks Boimler scream from episode 6 of season 2, right? Like, that's him feeling it, and that's dedication to the craft. If it would have been fine without them, you could have argued this is Lower Decks, this is live action him, he's just a normal guy. But to work out the line of silly versus characterful, and then none of them particularly come across as silly. They're just, he's a bit of a weird guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it, right? Like, speed walking, that's fine. So yeah, that's the nice thing, because they're all intentional. They aren't subtle, they aren't CG. This guy did the research, this guy decided to put them in, this guy did them, and it's every second watch kind of thing. Mariner, of course, got a lot less time in the episode. I think she does more with her voice than he does. He does more physically, I would have said.
Well, when she's sitting with Uhura, she sits very much like Mariner does. But other than that, there's not really Marinerisms necessarily.
It's more the cadence that's just nailed and like translating that into facial acting. Because, hey, good shout out. I like it.
Well, Ray Ricks throws in £5, which
Ray
matches.
Ricks.
That was, we just had our number 5s on the list, so thank you. A quick super chat from Hardy at Star Trek Destination. Sam will be delighted to know that Star Trekking made an appearance.
Thanks, man. You should post a picture of that party on the Friends of Destination Star Trek page, so I can see the party now, because I can look at that page. Because I've been monitoring what people say. Yeah, how's it going? Let us know. Goodness. Yes, and if you're there tomorrow, say hi. Do say hi.
All right, so now we're down to Sam's number 4.
Four. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Kirks. So this one is not, again, one you would have thought to include, in that if you'd said the Discovery's doing the Kirks, you'd say, please don't. If you'd said Stranger Worlds, we have both Kirks and scenes together, you'd say, huh? But he was on the planet with the mustache. But no, right? They built into an shockingly quickly earned, duo set of scenes that are given, as at the time, given enough time for their own internal importance. Because this isn't just a side character and a side character, it's the character of this era, and our one chance to explore his brother in live action in a logical, easy way that's really good. So to see them and their chemistry linked with a bit of Kelvin, linked with a bit of TOS, it's shockingly good, and both are good, both are bad. We debated that at the time, when Sam is dismissive, or Kirk is dismissive of Sam is annoying to Jim. They both shift between being the passive-aggressive, not appreciating side, and then the other. So you don't know who's... It's just brothers, right? It's just brothers. There isn't Kirk's a dickhead, Sam's nice. Not in all the scenes, good sirs. No. So I like that. It feels more real than it could do. And I'll tell you a brief little story. At the Sergeant Vegas, all three Kirks were there. Sam, Jim, and William Shatner. And William Shatner crashed their panel near the end. So Shatner, the Kirk, and then this new James T. Kirk had met Shatner even before he got the role, but Sam Kirk hadn't met William Shatner, and so said William Shatner walks on stage, and Sam Kirk actor says, "Hello, I'm your brother," and William Shatner's like, "Hello, brother," and it's just perfect. I say the three Kirk panel. It's great, and it's very nice they get to meet Shatner while he's still 90 and kicking. Is insane on a convention stage of all places. Surprisingly good. I'm excited to see more. I like a well-earned, well-done piece, because they're not always well done or well-earned, and this actually was. So good for them.
Yeah, the brotherly connection between the two was great. The dynamic was very interesting. One felt underappreciated by their father because the other one was an overachiever, and the tension that caused between them, I think, was very well played. It's just sad now, though, because I really like Sam Kirk, and we know what happens to him in TOS.
He did.
So, yeah.
And for some reason, he has plastic surgery to look like Jim. Because, of course, William Shatner played his brother with a mustache, which is such a fun, odd, thing they did. It's like, we're going to have you play your own brother. It's like, okay. It seems so small for him, knowing who he later became, but it's, great use of budget. So I guess he thought, to be successful like Jim, I'll look like Jim. Oh, I got killed on a planet. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, surprisingly well done. And this is one of the few benefits of prequel when they're done right. Seeing this develop could never happen in any other show. That's one of the few things a prequel can really do. So, good job.
Dirt is King throws in $5. It's weird how tall Boimler is in real life versus Lower Decks. He's tiny on Lower Decks, but huge in Strange New Worlds.
Can't hide the giant man in real. You can only give the women so much shoe lift.
Yeah.
and you can't make it smaller. Well, that giant budget.
Yeah.
What do you think of my choice there?
It was great. Yeah, I wish I would have thought of it actually, because it's nice to see the kind of behind the scenes family dynamic of one of our heroes from the whole Star Trek, right? And yeah, you never got a sense that you give a shit about Sam in TOS. It's whatever. He's dead. That's nice. Incentive for the character, but
also I appreciate now that he couldn't make his way in the way he wanted to in Starfleet, because the paths are so they're so the same in terms of Starfleet, but most
he'll never make captain. He'll never be the same as Kirk,
exactly,
his brother. So he sidesteps that to get out and do something else.
Yeah. I mean, how many science officers become captain? That's not why you're there. There are command tracks for that reason. So if you're looking at success being this very pips or badges, he'll never achieve that. But you can be leader of a facility, or the guy that discovers this. That's a value add, right? So I appreciate more now why he would, and not because James Kirk is annoying. He's just really interested in jumping to the head of the queue through talent and skill, like not Kobayashi Maru Kirk, through talent and skill. There was no inclination he cheated or didn't get his job without just hard work, and that's really important, right? Like, he's a great officer. That's kind of the point, right? So yeah. Good. That was good.
Mm-hmm. How we get an explanation of why everybody calls him Sam, though? Because in TOS, it was like, wasn't it George Kirk? I'm the only one that calls him Sam. I mean, they addressed it in Strange New Worlds by saying, no, everybody calls him Sam. Maybe just Jim not knowing what everybody called him because he didn't really take that much of an interest in his
that could
life.
be one of the sad truths of his you know, you didn't realize that the nickname didn't stick, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But also, you know, how many times do we go through schools as children, and you know, how many in lower schools were you the full name and then you abbreviate your name for the second school or third school because you want to reinvent yourself as little as that's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, how many Dominics stayed through school as Dominic, and then just became Dom or something of the ilk. You know.
Yeah.
It happens. It's okay.
Cool. Yeah, good choice.
Yeah, it was surprisingly good. All right.
Bronze.
Oh my god.
We're almost at our 75 likes. I mean, 2 more. Let's go, guys. All right. My bronze, my number 3 is the Time Cops showing
Hey!
up. It's almost the same frame too. It's hard not to get the same frame if we're looking for that one, but yeah, just including the Temporal Police actually doing something. We really need a Temporal Cops show. That'd be awesome. But even the device they use, which looks very TOS in its design, to the T cars, to the lady coming in at the end, it's kind of explaining things that you weren't meant to meet Kirk, and you can't tell anybody about this, and it was just great. The broader Star Trek universe and kind of stepping outside that, or the time restrictions of it, was awesome. Because many times over the years, we've said, where are the goddamn time police to fix this? We know that they're doing things here, which is awesome. And the fact that he shows up and kind of hands over the mission to somebody else was kind of neat. It was neat to see. It was a real surprise for me. And to see the T-cars recreated so accurately was amazing as well. I didn't expect that. So a lot of elements to this that I really enjoyed. And it also gave us, in my opinion, one of the best episodes this season, if not the best. Exactly. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which also focused on the Canada aspect. It's just great. It's a really great lawn episode for sure. And it's also the episode that gave us the most James T. Kirk we've seen to this point that felt kind of like James T. Kirk, which was amazing. So there was a lot that came out of this episode as a whole, but the main premise just being the Time Cops and this guy getting injured and handing things off to La'an was just awesome. So Time Police for not the win, but for the bronze.
Yeah, I mean, if Duquesne was there, that would be I think that'd be a silver for you. I think that would, or if they brought out the tricorder, which was on the set of Picard. I'm just saying they had one.
Oh yeah,
CBS had one. Rose, yes, I'll be there tomorrow. Gosh, it's so few hours. Yes, if you see me, go say hi. I'll be there.
If you see Sam at Destination Birmingham, walk up to him, say hi, say I'm so-and-so on YouTube, and then give him a nice little punch in the arm from Captain Foley and say, that's from Captain Foley.
And then Commander Cockins will punch you back in the face, and I'll say, next time you see Stuart Foley, give that for me.
Well, that's just mean. I'm not being mean.
I think for a thing. Give
a friendly little knock on the shoulder, which I would do to you anyway. But if 15 people do it in the same spot, you get a nice bruise, it would feel really good.
Ah, so you're going to start creating a Trekyards meet and greet, and then invite me, and then everyone has to then punch me in the arm. I see how it is. It's like you got one of our friends, they got your hamburger live, and it's like, what? The internet can do that? You'll be sending me punches via the internet, you darn it. Damn you, sir. Damn you.
Yeah. So, actually, I should do a consensus right now in the chat. Who's going to Destination Birmingham? Who might see Commander Cockins? I'm interested.
Yes. Yeah.
You have orders from your captain to be very kind and welcoming to Commander Cockins and treat him like a friend.
Oh.
Friendly shot to the arm.
I'll send
you
hey, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I mean, they got some good guests, as few as they are. They got up-to-date guests, which is nice, and double Dax. Double Dax on you. Star Trek 3. Not quite. 4. Star Trek 4. Yeah, they got a full... Well, they haven't, but one of their fan groups has got a full-size TNG shuttle pod.
Ooh.
But, nice. Would be great in a fan film. Can you imagine if I just walk around a fan with a pod But I don't know if they want to put that into a field somewhere, especially not in like winter, because it's white and lovely. Anyway. Super chat your thoughts, guys, in the bronze. My number 3. Are you ready, Stuart? Are you primed?
I'm prime timelined and ready to go.
Oh, that's not for you then.
Oh.
Okay, I'm visual rebooted and ready to go in 3, 2. My number 3 is...
I'm Optimus primed.
I'm giving this one the bronze to the Spock Comes Human episode. The whole thing, it gets my number 3 slot because in rewatching stills, I appreciated once again how good so many aspects are, and we don't tend to give episodes top 10 degree level slots because other things are so engaging, but there's so much good in this, and it's so fun, and also, again, premise-wise, you don't want to trust these writers from, you would have thought in the olden days of Discovery, with Let's Make Spock Human, the episode. They'll butcher it. They did a fine job, with a little bit, some cringe, some phenomenal, some medium, but really no bad. And that's impressive by itself. Ethan did phenomenal. The reactions are really good. Of course, he would not have been put on duty after it happened. That's ridiculous. But straight into the story, fine. The T'Pring stuff is magical. She's phenomenal. That's before the costume. The dad is like mic drop. Like he give him a spin-off. Give him a short trek. Oh, a short trek. The House of T'Pring, the short trek spin-off. Just him and T'Pring in a Vulcan room, the LED wall, discussing, and then the mum just walks in every few minutes and just like derails everything. Oh, the House of T'Pring, episode 1. There we go. Ordered. 6 episodes.
You forgot the best part of that episode, and that's all of Pike's reactions to every situation, including the meeting his mom with the beanie on, and I have one of those too, and especially when he starts walking towards them with the food, and Spock's like,
"Yes, you love that."
Shit!" Pike was amazing in that episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot of good there, and it is a very good double bill for last year's body swap. They didn't. I said at the time, it's not that it's better or worse. It's just it's not almost as good in a different way, which is okay, right? A sequel shouldn't be the same thing again, but better. It should bring something new. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good call out. Like I said, Human Spock was on my honorable mentions. I really did want to include it, but I like the way you did it as the entire episode, because I also had the dad on my honorable mentions list. So there's a lot of good in that episode.
There's so much.
But then I also had a negative on my one yesterday, the Kirkovian moon anomaly.
It's such a small part of it. But the thing is, once they talk to Blue, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, blue and yellow. Small part of it. It's the whole reason for the episode. That's the one. That's why he's human.
And briefly, about the Scottish Nightmare saying doesn't seem worth it. I go for photo shoots, so they can do photo shoots without SAG. So that's why I go in the simplestness. I don't, and it occurred, like I was so not almost going, but it's like getting Terry Farrell and Nicola de Boer. They're only getting older. At a certain point, Terry Farrell, who was a very sexy young woman in the part, is going to look like an old grandma. And it's like, look, little Timmy, I met her. Here's a picture. Like, we're already decades away and they're doing pretty well, but at a certain point they're going to look worse. Get a picture while you can, etc. Yeah. Or just meet Michael Dorn, who bloody isn't any different in 20 goddamn years. So, yeah, that's why I go, and then obviously the fans. I'll have a few very small other things. Because, and I like La'an. I'd like to meet her. She's English. Hopefully she's not just... Do you remember that one actor we met who had a dog? And that's all they could deal with, and it's like took so much of their attention that it wasn't a proper interaction. I don't want to say who it was. I'm also not sure. Hopefully she won't have the dog because there's a real dog. It should just be a because you only get like 20 seconds with them in a signing queue. You want those 20 seconds to be actually on your terms. Once I had one where, side tangent, but I wanted to do a signing, and then this other guy had just left, and he came back saying, "Sorry, I forgot this one," and they had already had mine in front of them, started signing, talking to that guy, saying, okay, so I'll bring in a second, handed me to mine, and that was it. So my entire 20 seconds was dealing with the other person, and it's like, well, I can't say, sorry, I want to say something, like, that's not, like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you hope for the best, but that does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we hit 80 likes, which is awesome.
It is.
But we need some more super chats if you guys are able to. We want to hear your favorite things. We haven't heard much of your favorite things in super chat form. So if you want to help us out, please do so. Also, speculate. We're down to our gold and silvers here.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think our gold? What do you think our number one for each of us is going to be? Super chat it in. And
best of the season. I want to say at least another sort of 5 fives would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah. All righty, here we go. My number 2, my silver,
ooh.
is the animated opening for
Okay.
Those Scientists.
Okay.
It was great. I initially skipped it because heard the music. I saw the lights come on, and it's like, all right. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I should probably check that again, just in case. Went back and watched it. I'm glad I did because it was fantastic. So much about it. The fact that they did it, they took the time to do it, was great. And then adding the little lower decksisms, like this, nacelle sucking slug, the NSS, I guess, and things like that was a nice touch. So kudos to them for that. Didn't expect it. They also changed the music for the musical episode. The music in the intro is different as well. So I like when shows do that kind of thing and change things up like that. But you get so used to just skip intro that you might miss sometimes, and it's a bit sad. But they're nice little Easter eggs. If you do skip the intros, you might miss it, but then you find out about it later. You're like, ooh. So yeah, and then seeing the Enterprise looking more like the Enterprise because it's nice gleaming white. Not necessarily gleaming white, but not all panely and charcoaly and dirty. So yeah, the animated opening.
Don't you sometimes like dirty though, Stuart? Anyway, so my number 2. Okay, interesting choice. And what's doubly fun is that you assume, because you would be within your rights to assume, that of course, Stuart, all they did, which I can even do in Lightwave to a lesser degree, they just loaded up the scene files of the whole sequence, and they attached a tune filter with some tweaks, of course, and then clicked re-render. That would make sense. No, the Lower Decks team made that entire thing from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they have the models, so they could be given the stuff in the tile sequences, but of course, things in the background can be matte paintings, could be, that could be cleverly, whatever, But they rebuilt the Enterprise moving, all that stuff, very impressive. That's like attention to detail, and a whole other thing to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they all had to make more animation they planned that year with the sequence, which is not a short sequence on the Cerritos. So how cool is that? It's real cool.
Pretty damn cool. Yeah, it was nice. It was fun to watch for sure. I thought it was going to be exactly the same cut paste. It's like no. The addition of this stuff was great.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing
falling off later.
The thing you highlight there is one of the best bits. I certainly wish it had been more original, because that could have been the chance to just make a whole fresh sequence, same music, but like seen through the Lower Decks prism, like silly. Because they could just draw a Gorn, like they could draw a TOS Gorn, like it wouldn't be difficult, right?
There should have been a scene of like Borg and Romulan, all like TOS ships, doing something, and then the Cerritos you see fly off, and this Strange New Worlds Enterprise comes in to take its place. Like,
actually, that would have been kind of amusing if in the tile sequence, if the tile sequence had been where the TOS Enterprise gets and how strange. That would have been kind of cute, actually. That would have been a fun way to acknowledge the difference while still being true.
All right, let's see. Dirt is King, or DRT is King.
There we go.
Those are $5. Out of left field questions. Okay. What did y'all think of the Transformers and the animated series crossover comic? I thought it was pretty fun, actually. I didn't know what to expect from that, but I rather enjoyed it, especially the Tiberius Maximus, the Enterprise transforming. Oh, they made another Transformer that was the Enterprise, and there's also a D7 Transformer in that as well, which is very cool. So I thought it was kind of fun mashup, and I didn't expect it. So
yeah, I've never read it because I'm not a comic book person per se, nor do I have the same access to comic books, especially back then. But the art's great, and it's a fun idea. I mean, if you acknowledge the super uncannonness of it, you can just play, right? And that's awesome. Yeah, and to have I know they put a lot of work into those, so I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, I thoroughly liked what that comic and the animated series style MRES and all. Yeah, and they kept the animated style characters as well, which was a nice touch. They could have made them like IDW, it was produced by IDW, but they could have made them more like their realistic comic book versions, but they didn't, which was great.
Makes almost a double crossover, almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And Ray Ricks throws in another £5.
Killing it.
It says, as a psychologist, I thought Under the Cloak of War was interesting, especially the representation of Mbanga's PTSD. Mbanga's PTSD. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly if you've got the knowledge. And my dad's an immigration lawyer, so him watching the trial episode was like, oh, he's there.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously research, etc. Nice. Mm-hmm. Good to know a psychologist.
All right. So now it is time to hit that like button if you haven't. Obviously, super chat in, please. And we'll get to Sam's number 2, his silver, right now.
The medal goes on. We're on the podium, steps above the number 3. Are you ready, Stuart?
Yep.
Do you have any guesses?
Go for it. No.
The glory to you and your KLS. And didn't I say KLS properly, Stuart? I did. Why is that? Because Klingons are done properly again. Oh my god.
Right.
We ain't got no anymore. Yes, and I'm glad to see it on your list, but for me it's even higher, just because it's a fundamental. And when
you say fundamental or fundamental?
No, fundamental. That's how we say it in England. Sorry. No, starting out strong. We knew Klingons because some guy leaked it. Awesome job, good job. So that was always a nice feeling to know. Visually, they're going to look about right. As you can see from the screen cap, not a single iota of the Discovery Klingon in him. Nothing. There's no color. There's nothing, right? So they're not even lip servicing it. The armor, we see the logic, right? And we praised it thoroughly. There's not a bad Klingon in the season, which is a hell of a comment to say. Even Eye Patch singing. He looks pretty good still. No, they're I like the thought-provoking Klingon. I don't necessarily need Vikings, and these are not meant to be Vikings. So to see this captain be really good in a limited screen time, if they do not rehire this guy for as much effort this is, he could be the Martok, right? Like getting missions with D7s and work together, it could be really fun. All the scenes of Spock are fun. Having that connection throughout with the blood wine joke is good. There is another Klingon episode in the middle. Yeah, with the other guy, the negotiator guy. Again, good Klingon, well acted. It's still sort of just a human in Klingon with a Klingon lens. He's not super Klingon-y, but there's a variation in the theme. He looks and feels about right with a slight variation. That's all good. It's good to see him. The armor's bulky, but still feels practical and armory. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those few things that this feels like they either you could wipe away a slight layer of fuzz in the TOS Klingons, obviously with foreheads, or you wipe it just onto TOS and you can see the armor being a high-ranking officer. Both subtle wipes work, unlike the corridors, which are too big, too bright. Like it's too much of a. This is a really nice approach, and for one of the giant stab and twist into your sides that was Discovery Klingons, they're good, and I actually hope to see them more. in you know all
Yeah,
the
this guy
credits.
would be a good recurring character for sure because that's basically or no, he very did a very good job of embodying that Klingon vibe. I would love to see him come back for sure. Be a recurring character would be awesome. So yeah.
I mean, not to toot the guy's horn too much, but even if you bring him back as a, you know, his great granddaddy in a later Trek, I'd be okay with that, right? Like he had a good vibe. Did a good job. So yeah, the Klingons, they're back, and I do not doubt we'll see them even more in season 3, especially since now if you get moments when I don't know if it makes sense, Empire-wise, but if they fight the Gorn, my enemy is my friend could have a really interesting season or seasons. We're working with them, and that's how we gain cultural knowledge of them because we do know them in TOS. But in theory, we don't know them at all after the Discovery because of the stupid we didn't see them for 75 years, etc. They're good. They're good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lots of potential, and yes, course correction, always good. So, all right. Well, we're down to our last one, our number one, our golds. I'm going to remind you guys again to hit that like button. I wouldn't mind getting another 14 likes, get to 100.
Right now.
Please super chat in. As Sam said, a couple of 5s, some 10s would be amazing. Just give us a final word on your favorite thing from this season. Now is your chance. This is your number one favorite thing. Please throw it in there to the super chat. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, quick fire. Wherever you are. Get out the keypad of the thing you're watching or the, you know, type what's your favorite thing of this season. Let us know. This is one of our epic end of season discussion pieces, so we really would like to know. Quick fire, guys. Quick fire, throw them out there.
Yes. So, I guess we shouldn't keep people in suspense for too long. But
do you have any guesses what my number one is, though, Stuart?
Have any guesses what your number one is? That's a good question.
Yes. Well, I'll give the people time to type in their type bars.
Do you have any thoughts on what mine might be?
The Bassard warp coil room. Because you love your nacelles. If you say Pelia, man, I will have things to say. And you might just say that just to be, well, I like the actress. Good. If you say Pelia. Or you might say Kirk. Yeah, maybe you'll say James T, Pelia, just because, you know, things like that. Anything else you could say?
The NX being referenced and showing the NX
grapplers
that they had to go to rip off a piece of hull. That was my favorite thing. It would have been my favorite thing had they done that.
Oh, it would have been fun if your favorite thing for the season was the lower deck scenes, which were not like that could be a, you know, if you're going being a bit you know like those scenes, which are not Stranger Worlds at all, they're lower decks. Could be really funny.
Well, yeah, I can't even guess what yours might be.
Well, that's good. Don Ranger Bauer says the court martial episode.
Nah.
Trial of Bite. I said Klingons number 2. He said Klingons like number 7, so we're already out. Oh, Hypno, just the acting in general. And the writing in general. I don't think we tend to go that general, though.
Not usually, no.
It's like when you show someone a piece of media that you've made, you're like, what do you like about it? Oh, everything. It's like... Thanks.
Yeah.
That means you have no thoughts. So unhelpful.
Dan says, I always like seeing the Klingon battlecruiser, but not the scene where they called it the wrong one. Yep.
Let's not even start that rant again.
Okay, well...
What is the number 1, Stuart, of best things of Strange and New World Season 2?
All right. My number 1 is the classic white Enterprise that we see at the end of those old scientists in orbit, looking gleaming, beautiful.
Oh my god.
Done in the lower deck style, but still, actually, just seeing the lower decks or the Strange New Worlds crew in lower deck style was awesome as well. But seeing this Enterprise in particular, not just in the opening, but also in the closing of the video or of the episode, was amazing. Well, then I got a spinny bar here on the live. There it is. It's got up. Okay, good. So, yeah, I guess you were right. It is a lower decks element. Best thing about Strange New Worlds season 2 was lower decks. At least the representation of the Enterprise.
So your
Look
favorite part of the season is 4 seconds.
Yes. Because you know why?
Why, Stuart?
Because the ship is beautiful and clean. Look at the hull. There's no like lines everywhere. It's beautiful. It's white. It's not platy and silver and pewter and fucking charcoal stained, weathered. Bleh. It looks like a starship should look. It looks amazing.
You could also be entirely forgiven to not realize the struts aren't not straight.
Exactly. This shot, yes, that's another thing as well. It looks very much like a TOS one could look. I mean, it's still got this more squatness of the Strange New Worlds one, obviously, but honestly, it's a great shot. Very TOS feeling with the planet.
Well, very TOS shot. Animated.
No, the animated never looked this good. The Enterprise was always on a weird angle when it was orbiting.
Oh.
So no, this is awesome. So yeah, it's a hull of a ship. Funny, but yeah, there you go. It's a simple one for me. This was came first to my mind.
The Connie.
Yeah, this came first to my mind. Yes, please. Amazing.
More, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Please, Kurtzman, can I have some more?
But to be fair, even the scene after this with them drinking the Orion Delak, whatever, was not expected and very welcome to see them all in that animated style.
Still maintain,
I wish one of them had drinking more of the Delak and looked like the animated style. That would have been double hilarious.
In one shot, Ethan Peck is normal self, and then boom, now he's animated series version. Yeah. The more you drink, the more 2D you get.
That would have been great.
But I still maintain, if that had been a holodeck, you could have had Boimler, Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi all meet. You could even have had, if you want to go full on, and they probably could have, because it's a short episode, right? You could easily have had number 1 meet number 1 and flirt with each other.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Can you imagine?
There's got to be a holodeck scene in the next season of that. Come on.
See, holo flirt between husband and wife on screen as canon.
Because that was on my list too, and I almost made it as well, was the meta reference of Numera Una, the hottest first officer in Starfleet history, because they're married. The meta-ness of that scene was awesome.
And you had Captain Freeman meeting Pike, and a severe difference in officer rating. You know, flagship captain, pride of the fleet, low end captain, aspiring for more, but low end. Could have been kind of fun to see like their difference and you know, classical time, etc.
And Gerwalk says, I think Strange Worlds Enterprise is gorgeous because of the differences from the TOS version.
Okay.
Teach their own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's okay to be wrong. Nobody can be right all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's ever a gorgeous ship. I think you could fix it really easily. It's a good core of a design. With a few tweaks, you could really improve it to be right there.
Yeah.
But it's not right there yet. Okay. Crazy. My number 1 is
Kirk.
That would have been the hint, wouldn't it? No. I, of course, Stuart, I'm giving it for the entire Lower Decks crossover episode. Because, of course, it is the best thing about this season. Because it was the thing everyone was excited for. We actively were waiting for this moment, so it's all clouded other episodes. It was so excited for as the community. They released it early It's never happened, ever. Which severely screwed up our week. To the point of making me really mad because I knew we couldn't cover it for 4 days, and that legitimately pissed me off. So much so that I had to come back, and at like 12 at night after a long day, after traveling all for 2.5 hours, then watched it because I'd avoid spoilers. Like, it was such a thing, and to reach expectations is so difficult in media. It helped we don't know anything about it really, but just the concept. A few missed opportunities, of course. But a lot of fun, everyone was good, and it definitely leads you to hope. I assume they'll do another crossover next season of either show. I would assume they'll do a Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover. They'll bring some cast into the Lower Decks verse. That I assume would make sense. You can do tet for tet, and it could all. If both shows get more and more seasons, it could be every year you swap between the shows and keep doing crossovers. It could be really, really satisfying, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you swap characters, Tendi is doing some Orion ritual and accidentally Rutherford sees into the past. Like, you could do a lot, or Rutherford has an eyepiece that makes him see into the past, and you could do things, right? You do things, just really good, just really, really good. And while it's very short, it's too short, thoroughly too short. Maybe the Spock human episode is better thematically, and maybe the La'an one is better story-y. This has just all of the Trek. You could never do this in any other show. This is 100% a Trek show through and through with no subsidy. So yeah, this gets number one. Number one.
Nice. This is the numero uno.
Yes.
Oh, Andy Urich though throws in a $20 super chat, so thank you so much. Favorite thing was in Charades when Spock finally understood what Amanda went through at an emotional human level. It seemed like an important moment in his life and their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
No, brilliant. Yeah. So many good things in that one. Absolutely.
Well, I considered throwing the Lower Decks episode on as a whole for one of my favorite things, but decided against it. But yeah, the thing is, it took all of the power out of the previous episode, which was the Uhura-based one, Lost in Translation, I think it was called. It zapped the energy out of that because it was released early, so immediately afterwards, and then it kind of overshadowed the next one, which was the Strange New Worlds MASH episode. So, and then we knew the musical was coming as well. So, I wish they would have both been surprises, but not like you can keep something like this under wraps, unfortunately.
I think the appreciation. I think these are so. I think if you had suddenly had literally Lower Decks content appear, you'd be confused, and you wouldn't be primed.
A lot of people were confused. I saw a post that said, "Is anybody else having trouble playing episode 7?" I keep turning it on. It's a Lower Decks episode. I don't want to watch it because it starts with Lower Decks, right? So a lot of people were confused that maybe weren't as much in the know that it was coming up, which I laughed at. I thought that was hilarious. And some people will refuse to watch this one and have said that. They refuse to watch this one on their rewatch of Strange New Worlds, even though they love Strange New Worlds, which is just entirely stupid in my opinion. But, oh well. Let them live in ignorance, I guess.
I have no reaction to this. Well, no verbal reaction. So that is our top 10, almost top 20, almost 2 entirely different lists. This is your final minute or so, or a few minutes to say. $9, round us up to a great number. $9 would be super and duper.
Chat.
Sorry, it would be super
Chat.
and duper. Chat.
Yes. Not watching Lower Decks on principle is disgusting. And stupid. I will say that. Yes, stream. S1 Noir. Hypno Member says we need longer seasons of Strange New Worlds. It was so packed and needed more time for a few planets and more exploration. Yes, I agree. Even 4 more episodes, make a 14 episode season, or even 13, maybe. I'd appreciate it, honestly. Just a great season and show. Exactly, Legend 28. Yeah. Like I said yesterday, doing the negative, our least favorite things was harder to pick out those. So. Anyway. Well, I guess that's
What do you think
it.
of this, Stuart? Or any sort of things you think were a bit ridiculous or whatever? Or anything you want to highlight?
No. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised much by any of your list, honestly. I'm glad the Klingons were on there. I expected them to be at some point. So, trying to remember everything you said, though.
That's okay. You're ignoring me from moment one.
What? Sorry. What was that? I'm sorry.
That's what you do, Stuart. It's what I do. Your list, Stuart, was a lot of small things I would not have penned. I'll be honest. They all make sense from a you perspective.
From a you perspective, my small mind and all.
From a Trekyards perspective, would have made sense, for sure. Yeah, cute. Yeah, well, yeah. Interesting season. I don't know if it's going to be the most memorable season. I feel like it will be like a standard sort of season 5 of TNG. Like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, season 2 is going to be remembered as the Lower Decks crossover in the musical.
And yes, exactly. Yep. So. Yep. No, and the first cliffhanger of Stranger Worlds. It'll be
yes.
that.
Yeah.
No, exactly, for sure. That was the 2 bright spots are certainly bright. But that's okay, you know. And obviously, people have complained there's not enough Strange and New and Worlds, but you know, we went to a Stranger World of a musical, Stranger World of a crossover with a Strange New World. We did go to Stranger World in episode 1. Like, there's plenty of things. They went to the Dark Planet in the Klingon one. I mean, there's the Gorn Planet's a Strange New World. It's not that strange, but it's new and it's a world. I mean, they almost went to a new planet every week, almost, or at least a new anomaly. I mean, but it's a more internalized character-based season, and that's a good thing. You don't necessarily want, last season, when you have a strong story episode, if you don't like the story and there's no real B plot or C plot, then it is what it is. Every episode here had those character B plots and C plots. So if you didn't like an element, there was other bits you did like. Like, if you didn't like the Kirkonian plot, you like the Spock plot, etc. So there was more diversity, I think, while being less radically new, I would say.
Yeah, well, let's close out this poll.
Oh, yes.
Before we do that, though, real quick, Sonic Cants throws in $2 Australian.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be a long road to the next season. Yeah. All right. But closing out this poll, the question was, favorite part of this season? It was both of our number ones, essentially. Lower Decks crossover wins with 59%. Canon Klingons comes in at 16% in number 2. And right behind that with 15% was the on time travel episode, which was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. The musical episode at 11%.
Interesting
Poll for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for voting. Sweet. So we'll do our drunk cards at some point, guys. Tune in. Might be during a weekday, might not. We'll see. Because did you notice there's only 4 weekends in a month? So
I've heard that.
So when you run out, you run out. That's why Nim's annoying to book, because like there's only 4 times I can book in a month, etc. So if they don't work, they don't work. Dear me. Tune in for a lot of videos this coming week. This is the week of what's left we haven't released yet from various episodes. So tune in for a cornucopia of fun debate things with some pretty good ones. I'm happy with all of those. So have fun with those. And watch our hair and shirts and voices change throughout the week. Yes.
Fun stuff. All right. And on that note, I think it's great to say that this was a fun one. The end of the week left on a positive note. And thank you for joining us. So until next time, we have a ship video tomorrow, by the way, so check that out. Until next time, he is Commander Cock.
He is Captain Foley.